Alrighty. Good morning, one and all, and especially good morning to our friends from the UK. If I'm correct, your time has changed to catch up with ours. So glad you're here this morning. And welcome to the main object big book study of Alcoholics Anonymous. I am an alcoholic. My name is David. And what a blessing to see you here. And let me do this because the theme of this meeting is flying by the seat of the pants. And so, since Kathy brought it up, I'm going to ask Kathy. Kathy, would you be so kind as to read the preamble that I'll be bringing up momentarily?
Sure.
Come on, where is it? So sorry, my screen is doing funky things. Show, oh, there they are. Okay, thank you.
Okay. This is AA's preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety.
Kathy, thank you so much. And now I'll invite everybody to join me in asking God to come into this meeting this morning with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Um, so, welcome everybody. I think everybody knows this, but I'll just run through it in case there's some new folks here. We are a line by line big book study. We go slowly through the text. And what we do is we break the text down into 5 categories. There they are. You see them on your screen: questions, directions and explanations, promises, warnings, and history. And one of the things that I have found is that by doing this, it helps me better grasp the meaning of the text. And it's not, nothing's in concrete, and it's not dogma or doctrine that they fit these categories. It's just in a sense that I get in reading it and other people. The colors there are highlighter colors I use. You can use those, use your own. And we go through line by line. And so, just so you know what we'll do, we're in, for those of you who just got on the call, we are in There's a Solution today, page 22. We're going to be starting about the middle of the page, the second full paragraph. Why does he behave like this? What our format is I'll talk and go in to that this morning until about 7, and then we'll open it up for discussion. Also, I'd like everybody to know that the meeting is being recorded. All of these meetings are archived on YouTube, just the audio and just my part. And I do that not to exclude the value of anything you might have to say, but some folks may not be comfortable having their voices or their first name out there. So that's why I honor that. So just to summarize where we are and where we're going to be going today, I will say before I even get into anything, I'm really going to need your help and input today because there is so much going on in this section that we're going to read today that is operating, I think Bill is operating on so many levels. He's like a Chinese puzzle here, although there's a really clear intent, but he really is a master of how he interweaves different focuses and themes. So what I'm just to kind of summarize it all, the chapter started with declaring that AA indeed had an effective solution to alcoholism, and that the solution is explained in this book and demonstrated in our own lives. Now, in what we're going to read today, Bill does something really important. He is laying the foundation for our spiritual solution. He's really sort of building, I guess you might say, not that he's arguing, but in technical terms, you would say he's building an argument that only a spiritual solution is going to help us. And how he does that is he lays that foundation by showing that our disease operates in a twofold fashion. It is a allergy of the body and an obsession of the mind. And he's going to really start to highlight near the end of our reading the obsession of the mind. So, jumping in, and this is why I say he's just so masterful with this. In this paragraph, why does he behave like this? This entire paragraph I have highlighted in orange, and we don't use orange a lot because orange is for questions. But basically, this entire paragraph is a series of questions. And the cool thing that I noticed that Bill does is he kind of juggles back and forth between hitting you with some in-depth technical analysis of what alcoholism is, which I'm sure he got from Dr. Silkworth, but then he humanizes it by asking questions and providing examples that help us relate. So, and he's really kind of taking us into this understanding, this new understanding of alcoholism in a very gradual, very personal way. So, why does he behave like this? Meaning the alcoholic who continues to drink. If hundreds of experiences have shown him that one drink means another debacle with all its attendant suffering and humiliation, why is it he takes that one drink? Why can't he stay on the water wagon? What has become of the common sense and the willpower that he still sometimes displays with respect to other matters? And Bill, like I said, is a master, because one of the things he's doing as well is he's saying to us, oh, well, look, I don't mean you. I mean those other alcoholics. Why do they do that? Or why does this mythical alcoholic do that? And because he knows that we're sensitive. And if he says, why are you doing this, David? David's going to like, whoa, some breathing room here, Bill. But here I can think about these things. And what he's talking about is we have the knowledge of the allergy. So why doesn't that knowledge solve the problem? And many of you, I'm sure, have allergies. I have an allergy to, I don't know anybody else who has this allergy, but I do, olives. And so I never have to like think about or have a program for my olive problem, because I have this self-knowledge that if I eat an olive, or if I eat food that has like cut up olives in it, my throat is going to start to close up and I'm going to start to gag, and my face is going to get real red. And so because of this, I have a natural aversion to olives. I don't need to go to meetings to make sure I don't ingest olives. So why doesn't that kind of mechanism work for alcoholism? And he's laying these questions out. And what he's saying is in the next section, which I have in green, the next two sentences, because it's explanation or description, perhaps there never will be a full answer to these questions. Opinions vary considerably as to why the alcoholic reacts differently from normal people. And the word that really jumped out at me in this, what I just read, was the word opinions. Because think about what he's saying. He's saying we don't know many of the facts, although you will hear a lot of opinions. Meaning, and by opinion, I think what Bill means is beliefs that don't hold up under scrutiny. Theories, but when you kind of look at the evidence, it doesn't match. So people have a lot of opinions, but they don't have a lot of facts about it. And then the next two sentences, closing out the paragraph, I have as a warning. We are not sure why, once a certain point is reached, little can be done for him. We cannot answer the riddle. So Bill is basically saying we don't have a lot of facts either. We only know a few facts. But the few facts we know, here they are. So he's sort of laying it open there. He's saying, put your opinions aside for a moment and listen to the little we know is enough to save you. And at the bottom of 22 there, that first sentence I have in green as an explanation. We know that while the alcoholic keeps away from drink, as he may do for months or years, he reacts much like other men. So we can stay sober just on the knowledge of the allergy. And we will react normally during that time, meaning we may not pick up a drink. And I think, well, my sense is, and if anybody else has a different view, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of insight here. I have this knowledge of the allergy, and that can keep me sober, and for some time. However, and then the rest of this paragraph I have as a warning. We are equally positive that once he takes any alcohol, whatever, into his system, something happens, both in the bodily and mental sense, which makes it virtually impossible for him to stop. The experience of any alcoholic will abundantly confirm this. What he's doing is he's reaffirming the allergy there, meaning we may stay sober for a while on knowledge of the allergy alone. However, when we pick up that drink again, we're going to be unable to stop. So let me just so moving onward, at the top of 23, I want to lay something out there. The sort of the focus of this whole paragraph, if you could condense it down to like one clear fact, one clear sentence, and this is so important because he's saying the problem is in our mind. However, the solution is not. Our mind cannot save us. And that's a tricky turn for a lot of us to take. So anyway, this first sentence here is an explanation in green. These observations would be academic and pointless if our friend never took the first drink, thereby setting the terrible cycle in motion. meaning my knowledge of my I don't need to know the technical aspects of the knowledge of my olive allergy. I don't need to know it because I know the knowledge alone to not eat olives and that I have a problem with them keeps. I'm good. I'm good. Like, I've never gone into a restaurant with my wife and she's never had to lean over to me and say, honey, this time, no olives. Never had to happen. Um, However, that knowledge, again, will not keep us sober. And that's what he's saying in this first sentence. And he's saying, therefore, the main problem of the alcohol, and this sentence is a total warning. Therefore, the main alcohol problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather in his body. Meaning, there's something glitchy in our mind which compels us to keep drinking in spite of the fact we know it's problematic. That's a disaster, a debacle. If you, and then the next several sentences are green. I'll read the green part. If you ask him why he started on that last bender, the chances are he will offer any one of 100 alibis. Sometimes these excuses have a certain plausibility, but none of them really makes sense in light of the havoc an alcoholic's drinking bout creates. They sound like the philosophy of the man who, having a headache, beats himself on the head with a hammer so he can't feel the ache. So, what he's pointing out is that most of us really can't make sense and don't understand why our own reasoning and self-knowledge cannot keep us sober. And then this next sentence I have, this last sentence of the paragraph I have as a warning. If you draw this fallacious reasoning to the attention of an alcoholic, he will laugh it off or become irritated and refuse to talk. Or, if you've had experience like mine, he will silently fire you as his sponsor. Anybody, just a show of hands, anybody else been silently fired as a sponsor? I mean, today we would call it like ghosting. Jennifer, yes, please.
No, I was just agreeing with that one.
Oh, okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, good. So, all right. So, I just want to make sure, because I made a note here. I want to share with you what traps us in our disease is the second part. And that second part is is something that most alcoholics who struggle never fully see. And that is the obsession of the mind. And this means that despite the knowledge I can't drink, I will continue to do so. And even more importantly, we don't have the capacity, we don't have the mental hardware to be able to see the problem in ourselves. So, moving on, we're in the middle of 23. Once in a while, and these first two sentences are pink for warning. Once in a while, he may tell the truth. And the truth, strange to say, is usually that he has no more idea why he took that first drink than you have. And I don't want to make jokes or point negatively towards any other AA member. I will share that I sometimes feel concern when I hear fellow alcoholics who have relapses come back. I mean, I'm glad they came back. Don't get me wrong. But maybe some of you, I'm thinking some of you here may relate to this, is that they come back and they explain, now they understand. Here's the piece they get that they didn't get before. And it's almost like they have a new awareness or a new insight that's going to keep them from not drinking. And the part I get uncomfortable with is like, I want to say, dude, man, don't believe what your mind tells you. It's just setting you up for the next drink. But anyway, and this next sentence here, some that begins some drinkers, I have that as a explanation in green. Some drinkers have excuses which they are satisfied part of the time. And then the rest of the paragraph I have as warning. But in their hearts, they really do not know why they do it. Once this malady has a real hold, they are a baffled lot. See, the person I feel that I am able to best help is the one who comes back and does not say, I get it now, I see it, I understand. The one that I can help, just based on my own experience, is the one that says, I'm completely baffled. I'm lost. I'm terrified because I have no solution. I have no way of figuring this out. And I am afraid that my own thinking is going to lead me to the next drink. And when you hear, and Robbie's shaking his head, so I know he relates to this. Like, that's a guy I can help. That's a guy ready for the solution. And 23, page 23, where the rest of the page I have as warning. Actually, the rest of our reading. You can put your other highlighters away, because we're going to finish up at the top of 24, and everything else continues to be warning. How true this is, few realize. In a vague way, their families and friends sense that these drinkers are abnormal, but everybody hopefully awaits the day when the sufferer will rouse himself from his lethargy and assert his power of will. What he's saying there is that many alcoholics are unintentionally aided by well-meaning family and friends who encourage them to reason through their disease and use more of their will, more of their determination. And unknowingly, these well-meaning people are affirming the very thing that is killing that alcoholic. I hope that makes sense. And what the point that I think Bill is also driving home here is we lack the ability to see this in ourselves. And as a result, we are behind enemy lines long before we realize. You know, where we think enemy territory is, we may think it's still 5 miles ahead, but the truth is it was 10 miles back. The tragic truth is that if the man be a real alcoholic, the happy day may not arrive. He has lost control. At a certain point in the drinking of every alcoholic, he passes into a state where the most powerful desire to stop drinking is of absolutely no avail. This tragic situation has already arrived in practically every case long before it is suspected. And we are what he's saying is we are far past the point where we can save ourselves, even though we believe the opposite. And so we're going to end there. And so what he's doing, and I'll just say this and I'll open it up, is that what he's doing is he hasn't said it yet, but he's building to the point where he'll be able to say, and this is why a spiritual solution is absolutely essential. And this is why all that drastic action is unavoidable if you want to stay sober. Kathy, I see your hand, and I'm just going to put out there I have some questions for just to kind of spur reflection and maybe some discussion. And the first one is, can I relate to my disease being both an allergy of the body and an obsession of the mind? And then second, have I ever drank despite the awareness that I would be unable to stop? Meaning, has knowledge of the allergy failed to prevent me from picking up that drink? And third, am I firmly convinced that my reasoning and determination cannot help me remain sober? And with that, we'll open it up.